Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is a very gray and rainy morning here in Western New York. It's been lovely though. The weather has been getting a little bit more spring-like and seasonal. Although we did have sort of some mixed precipitation yesterday, but it's March still, and that's very common here in March. But it's the temperatures have been pretty mild, and the snow is melting, and we're all getting very excited for the spring. So our theme today, I guess we're going to do sort of what we usually do. I'll give you a quick update on what's been going on with me, and then we'll move into our theme. And our theme is one of personal identity. So it's real deep this morning because the rainy weather makes me all philosophical. So I'll explain what I mean by that when we get there. But it's been kind of a mixed week. It's the beginning of the week was a little stressful here at work, and I was feeling very out of sorts. And the second half of the week has been much better. And that does tie into how I came up with my theme for the day, if that's any clue as to what that's all about. But yeah, the week started out just, spring break here at the university that I'm employed at was last week. And that was a much needed respite for us from teaching. And we had lots of grading to do, so it's not like I got a lot of other things done, but it was nice to have a break in that routine. And when classes started back up again, I found myself in a little bit of a downward mood because the semester is, it's at that point where it's just starting to get to you. I've talked about that before in tea time, and I don't want to dwell on sort of the things that I have found to be a challenge because I've been trying to focus more on the positive things. One of my Lenten resolutions. But that was definitely the reason for why I was feeling a little blue on Monday and Tuesday. And sure enough, once we got back into the classroom, I was really, really just feeling it. It was just dragging down my spirit a little bit. And so it was just like a tough start to the week. But I made a sort of a resolution, if you will, with my good friend Sam that we were going to try to pray a rosary each day, a full rosary, because it's very easy for me to start a rosary and never finish it. And so I usually will pray in the car in the mornings on my way to work. And then if I don't finish whatever it is that I was praying, and usually it's a rosary, I often in the afternoon commute will just listen to podcasts or listen to music and then not complete it, which is not like you have to do that. It's important and good just to talk to God and to set some time out during the day to do that. It's not like there's any rules to how you go about doing that, but I always feel like I'm leaving something on the table, if you will. I don't allow my heart and my spirit to sort of close that prayer loop. It just still seems like it's open and I still have more things that I could say, I guess, to God. And so I really wanted to get better about a habit of finishing something, or maybe a better way of putting it is setting aside additional time in the afternoon to complete that thought process with God. And so we made this pact, if you will, with each other that, and we did this on Tuesday, starting Tuesday, that for the rest of the work week, we would pray an entire rosary. And so if we started in the morning, finished in the afternoon. So I've been doing that, and it's been going very well. I feel better. It's really, really helped. And I'm looking forward to the Divine Mercy Novena that will begin on Good Friday, and that is only a couple of weeks away. So we have the next week, and the week after that is Holy Week. So this Lent has flown by. I don't know if you feel that way, but I really feel that way. In terms of things that I had planned for Lent, I haven't really kept to many of them with any kind of regularity. It's been sort of fits and starts here and there with all of them. However, that being the case, I still feel like this has been a very important and productive Lent. I think that it has been a time of deep reflection and contemplation, and that things are happening. So I think that it's been a good one. And I'm very much looking forward to Holy Week. So I'm sort of preparing for that. And on Good Friday, that heralds the Divine Mercy, the start of the Divine Mercy Novena. So it runs from Good Friday up until the second, well, the second Sunday of Easter. Is that the right way of putting it? The Sunday after Easter. So I'm excited about that. I pray that every year and really, really love it. So I'm looking forward to doing that, praying along with my friends. So I've been just, sort of trying to let things roll a little bit more easily at work. At home, everything has been lovely. My family is always there for me. My adorable, adorable, and wonderful husband is so supportive and cute and sweet. He's just, after 12 years of marriage, it's a wonderful feeling to really still feel as affectionate. I'll use that term. I was going to say amorous, but then maybe that's a little too much information. I feel that love and affection for my husband after these years. It's only increased really since we've gotten married, and it's not to say that we always have any kind of a perfect day to day. Any marriage, of course, that is never going to be the case, but it's really a lovely, lovely partnership, and I am so grateful to God for that. And He has really been there for me this week. And the kids have been very cute and entertaining, and they're both getting to ages that I just never, when you have kids, you always sort of see them as little. And then when you really start to see them grow up, it's kind of surreal. I'm in that place. Henry is 11. I think he might officially be 11 and a half, but let's not count those half years because that makes me even more nervous. Anne is going to be 6 in a couple of months. So that is crazy. I don't even know how that happened, where the years went, but there you have it. That's what all the old people say, right? Where did the years go? 10 years are like a day. And they're just, Anne is getting really tall. Henry is starting to approach tween time, if not already in it. It's hard to believe. But there's the challenge of just accepting how much time has passed. But the positive thing is that I really, really enjoy my kids as they get older. Having a baby is a lovely thing in many ways, but I think because I always suffered from baby blues / postpartum depression, it was not a good time in my parenthood. Right after I had a baby, it was a lot better with Anne than with Henry because I was prepared and was more proactive about dealing with that and allowing others to help me. But having a baby I found to be just a difficult thing to navigate because of that physiological issue that I went through. As my kids got older, that passes and I really enjoy them more. And so with them both starting to get a little, now we're starting to talk about, taking some family road trips. Things that other people that aren't Mike and I, they do much with kids that are little and they have no problem with it because they are brave and better people than we are. We really, the thought of taking our arguing children on a 10-hour road trip in the past just seemed insurmountable. Like, we're just going to wait until they're older. Well, now they're finally at an age where, we're going to take a family summer vacation this year, and it's a really, really nice time. And so I've been really treasuring that this week in particular, enjoying the kids and really relaxing and appreciating that time in the evening when I'm not at work. So that's what's been going on with me. The other thing, we have a dance show coming up next weekend, and so I've been struggling to settle on music because when my spirit is sort of, if I'm feeling a little down or just out of sorts, it's harder for me to be creatively inspired. I think that's not just me. I think that's a common thing, and work has just been, sucking my soul. So I haven't just been able to settle on anything. Nothing was just making me feel like that's the one, that's, what I'm going to dance to. And so finally, though, this week, with the change that I just described to you, I picked a song, and it's a beautiful ballady that I'm just going to improvise to. It's a perfect song to improvise to. It has some musical changes and lovely accents, but a ballady is an instrumental folkloric piece of Middle Eastern music that will start out slowly and then build in tempo and to a crescendo at the end. And so it's kind of an exciting type of a song to dance to. And it's one of my favorite ballades of all time. Mario Curlis is the composer for that piece, and he's just a master in Middle Eastern music. And I'm feeling really happy about it. So I'm just listening to the music a lot and thinking about different types of sort of segmenting in my head as to the types of things I could do in each part of the song. And I just really, as opposed to the fall when I choreographed something, which I really loved for different reasons, this spring I just really wanted to be able to do what I feel in the moment. That's kind of where I am right now, I guess, in my life, and so it fit. It made sense. So I've been sort of working on that casually. I have a gown that our troupe hasn't used for a while because we have some new members and they haven't bought that gown yet. I think ultimately we are going to use it again as a troupe costume, but we haven't worn it now for about a year, and I think that I'm going to dance in that for it because it fits a gown like that fits with a ballady piece of music. So I think that I'm going to wear that. And because a couple of my costumes, I was fretting about costume stuff because costumes are a big pain in the backside. They never fit the same way twice. And a couple of my costumes are loose and need to be adjusted, and I don't sew, and so it's just a big pain to do that. I need to get them like tightened and alterations. And now I'm not going to even worry about it for a little while because I can wear the gown, and the one-piece costumes are so much easier. So that fits like a glove. So I'm feeling really happy about that, which is a nice feeling. So all of this is sort of tying into this identity crisis. So, all right, I'm at this part of my life where I'm not quite ready to admit that I'm at midlife, even though I probably am. And that's okay. I'm definitely not one of those women that is embarrassed by her age. I hope that continues well into my senior years. It just is what it is, and I think that you can retain a sense and a spirit of youth, and you can certainly retain beauty, even if it looks different, of course, as you age, no matter how old you are. And so I'm hanging on to that, and I'm not embarrassed by my age. So I am where I am, and yeah, I'm probably pretty close to midlife, and that's okay. The best is yet to come. And I feel that, at this place of my life, I look back and I think I remember a time in my life, so probably in my 20s, early 20s, where you're really figuring out what you want to do with the rest of your life, and that really is a huge undertaking. And it's a very tumultuous thing to decide. Sometimes you change your mind, and there's so much going on. It's a time in your life when often you're discerning a career, discerning a vocation. So, and if you're thinking that you would like to be married, ultimately, you may be dating and dealing with all of that. Like, who am I going to spend the rest of my life with, if that is what I feel called to do? And so there's just a lot of very major life decisions that go on in your 20s and 30s, generally speaking. I mean, it's different. It could be much older for some people, or some people marry their high school sweetheart. So I know that there are certainly exceptions to this. For me, that was in my 20s, mid 20s really, to late 20s. And I changed careers and I went back to school, and I had discerned the religious life, and I met Mike, and all of those. There are like a lot of major things going on right there. And once you get that all worked out, I thought, and so I'm thinking other people probably feel this way too. It seems to me that I felt like, whew, boy, that's a relief that I have all of that behind me. Well, there's a certain part of that, so 10 or 15 years go by, and there's a certain part of that resurges, I think, and when you get to the part of your life that I'm at, that, I mean, so in terms of the vocational issue, of course, indeed, that is settled. But in terms of your career and other parts of your identity, they can change again. And so, so part of my identity, certainly part of my vocation as well, is being a mom. And that's the same ever since I became a mom back when we had Henry. But the way that you see yourself in that role is different as time goes by because your kids are older and they need you in different ways. So that's something that evolves. In terms of your career and job, something that can change over time. I've been now in this role as a librarian. I took that major change in my late 20s when I moved from being a practicing attorney to going back to school. I went to library school and then got a job as a librarian, an academic librarian. Um, that was a major change, but now here I am. I'm in the same job, but my role has changed a little bit. And I have been really struggling this past academic year with how I see myself and my librarian identity in this job. And I think that this is widely applicable to many different aspects of your life, let's say. This could apply in your job, it could apply to other things in your life, other hobbies or things that are important to you that you do in your free time. That a block of time goes by, and even if you're doing the same thing, you realize that some things have changed and the way that you see it or that you see yourself in the role has changed, and it can be difficult to adjust to. I was thinking that this is somewhat akin to when a person approaches retirement. I would think you would have the same type of a crisis of identity. Where do I fit into this part of my world anymore? Does this mean something about myself that I'm not going to be doing the same thing anymore? That was really an important part of who I am. So I'm not near retirement, for better or for worse. Nowhere near. But my role has changed a little bit. I'm still an instruction librarian, like I always was. But I was always a reference librarian, and that's why I wanted to become a librarian. And that has changed. And so I guess I wanted to share this with you because you may feel like I just said the same way about this in terms of something in your life, and maybe we could commiserate a little bit about it in the comments and, just deal with it together. So I wanted to become a librarian because um, I wanted to help people. I wanted to work with them in a one-on-one type of a setting to help them find things and to ease their burdens a little bit. And I'm interested in learning new things all the time. And for a librarian, that's what you're doing because you're always learning about new ways of finding information, new sources, a different subject area that you've never explored before. You've got to go and, dig into the sources in that area to help somebody find a piece of information, a question that they have in that area. And that really, really appealed to me. I love being around books, whether they be in physical or online form. And because books represent a world of information to me, and I just love learning new things. And I have a quieter, more reserved personality, and libraries used to be quiet places where people came to read and do research, and I thought, that's a really good fit for me. I did not enjoy the stress of being a practicing attorney, and being a librarian has always been much more stress-free. Well, things changed. I no longer do reference. That has been hard for me. And I think that's where the identity crisis comes in. I'm not a reference librarian. I did not see myself as a reference librarian anymore. All of a sudden, I felt like I was a teacher. And I didn't go to school to be a teacher. To be a teaching librarian, yeah. But because of the way that the curriculum is here now, where we are teaching in a credit-bearing lab, and we're grading hundreds of students and responsible for providing content for the entire semester for all of these students, it has taken up all of our time. It has changed the dynamic between us and the students when we grade them. They get all defensive and, well, the ones that don't do well, defensive and upset sometimes about why they received a certain grade. And I don't like dealing with that stuff. That's not what I signed up for. I wanted to help people on a one-on-one basis, not assess them in any way, just help them. It really came to me this week that is why I'm struggling. That all of a sudden, this important piece of my identity, I just, right here, right? This is my glasses. I don't put these on very often for you. But I'm a librarian, right? I want to sit at the desk, put my hair up in a bun, have my glass, look in the book. I have to put my glasses on if I'm going to be reading. And together, me and the person that I'm assisting, we're gonna find the answer, and I'm gonna show them how to go about doing it so that they can do it themselves if I don't happen to be there. And I really missed that. I missed my old job, the way that it was before the fall of 2016. And I have just been sort of kicking and flailing these past couple of semesters thinking, like, why did this have to change? I really liked it the way it was, and I'm having a hard time adjusting to this new role, and not having the glasses bearing, bun wearing librarian identity was hurting me, because that's what I always wanted. I want to sit there and smile, say, how can I help you? And the person feels comfortable and can tell me what problem they're having. Maybe I really wanted to be a therapist. I don't know. But I missed that interaction that I used to have at the reference desk. So I had a bad day on Tuesday. And I said, you know what, I got this out. I started praying my rosary. I see that we're running over. I'll try to wrap up, but I'm like, this is really helping. I hope it's helping you too. So I want to finish. Um, but I have to get through the days. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I thought about looking for another job, and I did look a little bit in the weeks leading up to this as well. And ultimately, I just didn't think it was the right decision for a number of different reasons. Involving just sort of the place that I'm at in my life and career and my family, because I have a really good situation here with regards to retirement and benefits, and it would affect them if I left. And so it's not such an easy thing anymore as when I was single back in my 20s. So it's a lot more complicated. So I was like down about that. I'm watching these Aurora Tea Garden mysteries, like I mentioned last week on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and she works in a public library, and she was on the reference desk in the episode that I watched recently, and she helped somebody, and he was telling her how nice she was, so much nicer than the other librarian that had helped him before. I want to be that person. I want to be Aurora. I want to be that nice librarian that the little boy wants to come up to. Is the public library hiring? Well, for part-time positions or clerk positions, sure, which is not where I'm at in my career. If I was just starting out, absolutely, but that's not where I'm at right now. So, all right. So I had this sort of heart-to-heart with myself. And on Wednesday, I wanted to have a better day. And so I was in class, I was keeping my spirits up, and the students we had a workshop day set up for them. And so they were working and in small groups, and we were going around helping them. And I had a revelation. I do love it when that happens, when something is really burdening you and all of a sudden it's just like the clouds part and the angels are singing there. I had a revelation that I was going around. I was helping students one-on-one, at the very most in a small group setting, or in a small group setting. They were looking relieved when I helped them because they had a due date like that night. They really wanted my help. And so I'm going around and I'm assuring them and I'm being nurturing, and we were having productive and good conversations about how to create their citations. I could tell that they were learning. They were doing so much better than what our students were putting out in the fall. I mean, I was correcting things that were already in really, really good shape, and just getting into the nitty gritty of MLA citations and all of this exciting stuff. And I thought to myself, this is reference. I am doing reference librarian work right now. I'm just not at the service desk while I'm doing it. That changed everything. I am still that same librarian. I'm just in a different setting. And that is part of life. Things evolve. Libraries are not the same anymore. There's no cat in the library with the stacks of books. Yeah, we still do have stacks of books here, but they are much diminished from the way that they used to be. A lot more of our collection is online. People don't, I mean, a lot of students come to the library still to study because it's quieter and just a change of setting for them in a productive way. But it's not exactly the same as it used to be. But that's okay. We're still providing the same service to them. We've just had to change to provide it in a way that meets their needs. That really, really helped me. And I'm feeling a lot better. I've been in my classes and I've been myself again. I have felt good, even dealing with the frustrations of people like, well, I don't understand why I got 5 points taken off of that. Oh, well, because there wasn't a citation there. Oh, I forgot to put that in there. Yeah. And I'm not taking that as hard as I was. That's just part of the process. I do wish we didn't have to grade and deal with all of that. But that's what we have to do, and that's okay. I can still be my same librarian self while navigating those challenges. And that has really helped me this week. So, for you, have you had anything akin to this where you're kind of wondering where your place is anymore in the things that you love? Because it does change over time. Nothing stays the same. And as Mother Angelica always said, nothing lasts forever, honey. I remember her saying that. It's not going to stay exactly the same forever. It isn't. I mean, the things of eternity, with our faith and our belief in heaven, that will last forever. But these other things of our world, they're not going to. And so we have to adjust. And it can be difficult to accept change. And we're human. But I've come to the conclusion that this is what I am called to do, and I am still the same happy, nurturing librarian as I always was. That has made me very happy. Do you have anything that you would share that is similar for you, that you've noticed your role changing and how you've dealt with it? This is the longest tea time I've ever done, but I feel really happy right now. This was very productive and good, and I hope that it was for you too. So I'd love to hear what's going on with you. I'm looking forward to talking to you again next week, leading up to Holy Week. But write in and tell me about your thoughts on identity crises and how you've managed them. And I'll talk to you then. Bye.